Hey everyone, welcome to another The Sporting Nation Hangout, Google Plus Hangout. I am Sunny Cadwallader. I am the social media coordinator for The Sporting Nation, and I am joined by my editor, one of my many bosses that you'll actually see on the show today, Jose Romero. Hey Jose, how are you?
Hi, how are you, Sonny?
I am doing well. A little bit of technical issues on my part today, but we're hanging in there.
You know
What's
I always have technical issues, so no problem there.
yeah, what's been going? What have you been working on lately?
A lot of baseball. I have the joy of Apple TV in my home, and I'm able to see a lot of MLB, the MLB TV package. I'm able to watch a lot of baseball. So I'm here at home watching my son during the day, and I'm watching baseball, and seeing a lot of interesting stories and things unfold around the league. Always keeping my eye out for some other stuff. Obviously, the NFL, NBA playoffs are starting up here pretty soon, and
Yep.
there's some pretty good matchups, some really good matchups, especially on the in the West. Um, and the hockey playoffs have started. Soccer's always going on. They had the Copa del Rey final the other day. So, yeah, always keep an eye on other things, but a lot of baseball mainly.
Excellent. And for those of you that don't know, the Sporting Nation is a digitally focused sports company creating original content for the U.S.-based Latino audience, the bicultural audience. So it's definitely a Hispanic Latino startup, and that we are proud to have our guests tonight are also part of a startup. Let's welcome in Aymara and Vicente. Aymara del Aguila, I am terrible with names today, and Vicente Fernandez from SportsManias. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Sunny. Great to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Aymara, I'm going to start with you. If you could tell our audience a little bit of your background, introduce yourself.
Absolutely. My name is Aymara del Aguila. I am the CEO and the co-founder of SportsManias. And my background is actually in advertising. I've been in the advertising industry for over 25 years as a marketer. I am very, very happy to be working this Latino startup in the sense that I am a Cuban American, assimilated, been here in the United States all my life, but very much part of both worlds. And my co-founder is my son, and also a Latino, so I'll let him speak for himself.
Vicente, let's hear a little bit more about you.
Yeah, so I'm graduating senior at the University of Chicago, born and raised in Miami, Cuban, Venezuelan American. I grew up loving sports media and knowing that's where I wanted to be, and that's really led me to where SportsManias is today, and it's been a perfect inflection point of what I'm passionate about.
Well, let's dig into SportsManias. How did that whole tell everyone a little bit about that and how the idea came to be? And it's a very social media centered sports app, isn't it?
It definitely is. It actually we started off working on SportsManias. I was in my freshman year, and my mom, who, as she mentioned, has her own advertising agency, gave me a call and said, "Hey Vicente, I've got this idea to create a social sports website." And at the time, I didn't see my mom as an avid sports fan, so it was a little out of the blue. But I very much am passionate about sports. I was a sports editor at the University of Chicago's student newspaper, and I said, okay, well, let me think about what's out there in the market and what's not out there. And I thought there was a great opportunity around the content that local newspaper beat writers are producing, specifically on Twitter. And that was the initial concept for SportsManias, to bring diehard sports fans, especially younger diehard sports fans who aren't reading newspapers as much as they have in the past, bringing them the content that's being produced by these local newspaper beat writers on Twitter, which we believe is the best out there. And we're partnering with newspapers so that they promote SportsManias and in turn promote themselves.
Well, that was a great idea because I think one of the and you hit on it, is the sports journals. They've taken to Twitter like crazy, and that's where they hang out. That's where they report their news, break the news, and bring the latest rumors and stuff. Aymara, what is Vicente said you weren't necessarily a sports fan, but so what is your role in SportsManias?
So the way this happened is I'm a marketer. That's my profession. And I identified in Vicente, and there are 50 million diehards like Vicente in this country, the passion that they have with their teams. So as a marketer, I realized that there was a tremendous opportunity here if we could find a way to create a sports platform that connected these sports fans with each other, where they speak almost a different language. Like he said, I'm more the casual sports fan, and I see that when a diehard speaks about their team news, they have so much information that they're aware of in terms of statistics, player information. It's this incredible drive. So the idea was that exactly is to, the whole name of even SportsManias, manias, that passion, that drive, right, was to create something that the fan would feel more connected with their team news. And it was a very abstract concept. Vicente detailed that and made it what it is today by indicating that if we provided to that fan that team news that they crave on a constant basis through social media, faster than anything else out there, we would find that they would be attracted to the app and to the website. And that's thankfully what's happened for the past year.
Definitely. Working with your son, how has that been? I mean, as Hispanics, Latinos, we tend to be pretty passionate people. Has it been easy working with your son? How challenges? I'll get to you, Vicente, for your opinion, but I want to hear from your mom first.
No, you know what? It's been great because all along, I think Vicente has always been a very mature young man, and he very much saw my work ethics, the passion that I have with advertising and marketing, and how much time and effort I put into it, but how much I got out of it. And so from the very moment that we started this business relationship, Vicente has been my partner in business as a professional. He's my son, but really he has taken his role to a very professional level, complete dedication we both have, and it's a great compliment because, again, he is the diehard, he's the chief content officer, which means that he leads the content that is on our site. He knows that inside out. I'm the marketer. I make sure that the way that it's positioned, the way that it's displayed, the way that we're promoting ourselves gets that information out. So it's the perfect complement. And you know, interestingly enough, there have not been any challenges amongst each other as co-founders at all. On the contrary, we feed off of each other. The challenges have been just in growing a startup from scratch. And that's inherent in the type of business that this is. But it's been very exciting, and we continue to grow, and we have tremendous vision, and every day we wake up and we take off checklist off things that we've done, and as we check off 3, 5 more come up, and it's just amazing.
Okay, Vicente, what have you got to say?
No, I actually am of the opinion that my mom and I working on SportsManias together has improved our relationship even, because it's given us something to work towards together. And as she mentioned, she is completely somebody I look up to as a role model and an entrepreneur. She is an incredible businesswoman, an incredible entrepreneur, and I've learned so much from her. And I also think a benefit of working with your mother is that you can be honest. Right, we're very honest with each other, and there's no boundaries in terms of if we have something to say, we can say it, and we can move forward from there. So I would say that's a benefit.
Definitely.
That's cool. That's cool. I agree with that.
Jose, I know you have some questions. You have at least 1 or 2 questions for them.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to tell our guests, Aymara and Vicente, congratulations. This is, that little exchange there was very nice, and just it's pretty cool to see, you know, 2 Latinos that are doing some good things in this field, in this industry. You know, it's never easy, but you know, and there's not a lot. We don't have a lot of representation out there, people doing stuff like this. So it's a credit to both of you for working together and doing something like this together.
Thank you.
So,
thanks so much, Jose.
You bet. Now I'm gonna hit you with the hard stuff. No, just kidding. But I've been really intrigued and I'm curious by this whole Yasiel Puig story. He is a lightning rod of, the adjectives are just, there's so many of them about him. He's a reckless player. He does crazy things out on the field, but there's no denying the guy's talent. I mean, he's built like a linebacker, but he hits home runs. He runs fast. He makes great catches. Made a couple of good ones today, as a matter of fact. But the story about him is just amazing. These details that have come out about how he made it to the United States, and we're talking about guys financed by the cartels in Mexico. We're talking about human smugglers, human trafficking, having to stay in a hotel, hold up for weeks before you can finally leave and go to Mexico. Just the whole pathway to get to the United States, but where you have to establish residency in Mexico and then come up after a certain time. But you guys live in Miami, and you probably are aware of all of this stuff. You're probably listen. I'm in Arizona. I don't see stuff in my backyard. So I want to know, just from your perspective, tell me what you feel about the story. Does it surprise you? What's your reaction to what you read?
Well, I think what's really powerful about sports is that it is a tool for storytelling. And I think Yasiel Puig's story and his defection from Cuba, coming through Mexico and making it to the United States, is a story of so many Cuban immigrants and the Cuban diaspora into the United States. And he's the embodiment of that. It's on another level with him, of course, right? Because he was this 5-tool player in the Cuban Baseball League and had this myth to him. So when he finally had the opportunity to come, the cartel was involved. There was a lot of money behind it, and I really think it's almost a metaphor for what's happened on a very large scale. But it's great to. Sports has been something that, and baseball particularly, that still connects Cuba with the United States despite everything that goes on. There's always a large awareness of the Cuban baseball players that are up and coming and developing, and it's nice to see that the dream that he had and that guys like Jose Fernandez have had in the past realized when they come to the States and they have that success.
I think that I've been in spring training, and I've been to the Dodgers clubhouse, and I've seen Puig in the locker room there, and it looks like he's having a lot of fun. He jokes around with his teammates, but now that I see this story come out, it's like there was something that he wasn't willing to talk about, that he didn't want to talk about, and it was always there underlying. ESPN and the LA Times magazine finally seemed to have uncovered this guy's story. Why, and Aymara, I guess you can answer this one. Why do you think that he was so unwilling to discuss the way that he came to the United States?
Like Vicente said, imagine Cuba is an island just from Miami or from Florida, 90 miles away from the States. And yet it's almost its own world, unlike anything else, because we've had a dictator there that has set records. Nowhere in the world has there been a dictator that has taken on a country as long as Cuba. So there are a lot of things that are continuously happening there that the world is not aware of, and the Cuban population lives in fear still in 2014, and this is a fact. It's interesting because I came to the United States at the age of 4. I'm 54. 50 years ago, we had to come through Mexico. We crossed from Mexico to the U.S. because that had been shut off already at that point. The stories that I hear from my parents and my parents' generation are movie material that nobody believes. So I think Puig, out of fear factor, was just being safe and protective to make sure that he got to this world that his dreams could come through without basically perhaps risking anything in the meantime. So I think it was a protective measure on his part and wise. And now that he's here, I think he feels safe and he's able to delegate and to tell the full story. And that we've seen that happen with more than one instance, just like Vicente said with Fernandez here.
Guys, I'm in Arizona, and out here in this crazy state, we deal with our own set of, you know, issues, immigration issues, a crazy sheriff that I won't even get into, et cetera, et cetera. But we deal with a lot of drama and stuff on our end as Mexican Americans on this side. It's a very passionate subject for us over here in Arizona, the immigration issue. It seems like, you know, the whole Cuban migration to the United States is also seems to have always been a hot topic in Miami too. It's always just right there at the forefront of the community's mind. Am I correct in that?
Yes, no, absolutely. And again, it's because of the proximity, geographically, the proximity of Cuba, of the island of Cuba, and really because if you go back in history, the way this all happened is very controversial. You know, the whole situation of how Castro kept his forces over there. So there's always going to be, because of the proximity, because of the large population that we have here, that as a very hot topic, and because still today our island, our country, is not available to us. Very different from many other countries. That's the difference. And that until that changes, and who knows when that'll be, we've been talking about it for years. It's going to be this year, it's going to be next year. And until that changes, that's always going to be a very, not only hot topic, but very sensitive topic. Because for those who really lived that disappointment and that disillusionment, still today, every year they thought, oh, there's hope, we'll be able to go back again. And that hasn't happened. So I believe that anything that has to do with human nature, human sensitivity, and protective measures for family, for the individual, are always going to be sensitive issues. And in Miami, absolutely, we feel it very much with the Cuban community.
Vicente, when you read this stuff, did it surprise you at all, just knowing what you know about kind of the history of U.S.-Cuba relations and just the kind of the way that it's been in the Castro era?
Well, I know a lot of these stories exist. I think some of the details in Puig's story are really incredible. I mean, I guess I was reading up on some of his quotes from before he was really talking about it, or the story was out in the open, and he said, well, the only thing he said was, you know, this will be a movie someday. And I think that's telling. There's so many peculiar details in his story that are unique and unexpected, but in general, I think it is pretty much what I would have expected for a player of his caliber to have to go through to come to the United States in that fashion.
Let me ask you guys about, let's make this a little bit more positive here, and let's talk about Jose Fernandez. He's, I mean, the guy has basically turned baseball on its ear. Every time he pitches, it seems he's striking out a ton of people, pitching really well. You know, I kind of feel bad when I watch Marlins games because there's nobody in the crowd. It just seems like they just can't draw a crowd, and yet you have this awesome pitcher right in your backyard who probably is thrilled to death to be pitching, you know, so close to his roots.
Oh, absolutely. Jose Fernandez is incredible, and Yasiel Puig is an amazing player too. But it's a real treat to have Fernandez in our backyard in Miami, especially being a Cuban American player, considering the population. So it's, I mean, I can tell you that because he's playing, people are watching. More people are watching. I know it seems like the stands are empty, but he's really drawing a crowd to the games when he's pitching and an audience to the televised games. He's a really special pitcher, and as you know, I think he's gonna be doing good things for the MLB for a long time. Hopefully, the Marlins hold on to this one.
What do you guys think about changing sports? What do you guys think about David Beckham and MLS in Miami?
I'm really excited. I think you know, there's on another front, right? You have a lot of Colombians in Miami. You have a lot of Venezuelans in Miami. You have Mexican Americans in Miami, and there's a growing buzz around soccer. There was even before this announcement, and I think it's going to be a really good thing for the city to have an MLS team in Miami. And I think it would have been difficult to do if it wasn't for a name like David Beckham pushing it through. Now they're talking about a new stadium, and that would be phenomenal to have a stadium. They're possibly waterfront, which would be great. But I think him there's going to be a buzz around it. I think people are going to go to the games, especially if he's able to bring in some talent, and I think it'll be good for the MLS as a whole.
Yeah, and I want to jump in and say, again, on a marketing aspect, Miami is the gateway to Latin America and to Europe. It is. So it's perfect strategy. Having the right marketer to push it with a name like Beckham and the geographical location that, just about everybody who comes to the States from Latin America either ends up in Miami or makes a pit stop in Miami. And the same for Europe. So it's perfect. You're going to have the audience that is going to be interested from the get-go.
Lots of good things happening then. That's really cool. I'm pretty happy for the community over there. It's because I know, being a Major League Soccer fan myself, I was in Seattle when we got our team up there, and it was a lot of fun. So you guys are gonna love this.
Yeah, Seattle's one of the best MLS cities. I know Sonny's over there cheering. You guys have a phenomenal fan base.
I'm gonna jump in here and bring in a couple comments from the audience, because Jose, you asked about Yasiel Puig, and I believe my friend Candace Marco, she is based in LA, and I think she is a Dodgers fan. And she's watching with her son. Big Yasiel Puig fans in their house. So thank you, Candace, for joining the show. And also, Aymara, this is for you. From my friend Heather, I enjoy hearing a mother chat about her son like that. So much respect and love, as well as the business respect. And that's good to hear. So that is awesome.
That is awesome. Big smile on my face.
Definitely. Jose, did you have any other questions for them?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only other question would be, when I come visit, are you going to take me to the Clevelander? What is that weird statue-looking sculpture with the dolphins on it in center field? Because I think it's probably a Miami thing, but I want an explanation.
We need a road trip, I think.
Yeah, I think a road trip would do it. I don't think Miamians know the explanation to that one either.
Well, when you come, we'll definitely take you to the Clevelander and to a Marlins game. I know Jeffrey Loria made a lot of his money in art dealing, so he's big on the art, and especially contemporary modern art. So I think that's you'll see around the Marlins Stadium a lot of different art throughout the year, and I think that was probably the biggest inspiration for having that sculpture out in center field, something to catch the eye.
Oh, that's an interesting take on it. I didn't realize that. That's great. Well, I want before we, I don't know if we're almost at the end here, but I really truly want to invite anyone who's hearing and anyone who will be hearing this down the road to take a minute. We invite you to download our free app. We're really more than anything excited to see the engagement of fans, because we believe we're really delivering the information that they want. We have a free 5-star rated team news app, and just every day working harder and harder to make it better, to create that connection that's easier and faster and more complete for the sports fans. So I invite all of you to go to our site, sportsmanias.com, and to go to the Google Plus or iTunes store and look for SportsManias Team News, and let us know what you think. We'd love getting feedback as well.
Absolutely. You can reach us at SportsManias on Twitter. That's our Twitter handle. You can email me at vicentaf@sportsmanias.com. And I think those would be two very good ways to get in touch with us. We're always welcoming feedback and opinions. We want to make this the tool for sports fans to get their team coverage, and we want to hear what the fans have to say.
And we'll even send you some swag if you like.
Nice.
Well, thank you for that great segue, because I want to know what's next. What's next for SportsManias? And I'm going to do a quick screen share and bring up some screenshots for you, Vicente, because you're going to tell me what's coming up next.
Great. So on Sonny's screen, you'll see what our new redesigned app is going to look like. The launch date is in June. We're extremely excited about it. The homepage is going to be personalized to your favorite teams, one feed for everything you need. You're going to have games up on top where you can go to different game pages, and we'll get to that in a little bit. The next screenshot you'll see is a team page. So on the team page, you'll have articles, you'll have rumors, tweets, videos, standings, schedules, pretty much everything you could want as a sports fan. And we're trying to bring it to you, and it's going to be a faster, cleaner tool, we think, than anything else out there for you to follow your favorite teams. A settings page for personalizing your interests. That's really one of the major things we wanted to do with SportsManias, is put the fans first and let them decide what they care about, their favorite teams, what sources they prefer, and the notification settings. We're launching push notifications as well.
And this will all be released mid-June.
Great.
Getting close.
Yep. Here you'll see a team drop-down menu easily navigating you to your different teams or to your home page.
There's no Seattle Sounders there, Vicente. Come on now.
We're Miami-based. We got to represent our Miami teams, at least in our mock-ups. So here you'll see a screenshot of the team page again, and up next you'll see a live page for an in-game experience that we're really excited about. You'll have team comparison stats, you'll have player stats, you'll have recaps and previews before and after the game, and most importantly, we're going to be bringing you a feed of content from the beat writers on both sides of the equation. So here, if the Heat are playing the Bobcats like they will be in the playoffs, you'll see a feed of what the Bobcats writers are saying at the same time as you're seeing what the Heat writers are saying, and it'll be a great way to keep up with the action as it's happening during a game.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you both for joining us tonight. Where can people, I know you already said it earlier, but let everybody know again where they can connect with you. Vicente?
Absolutely. So our Twitter handle is @SportsManias. We're very active on Twitter, and we'll definitely respond to you there. You can personally reach me at VicenteF@SportsManias.com. And my Twitter handle is VicenteF91.
Amada, I actually have a question for you. Candace, maybe, I don't know if Vicente can answer this, but Amada, Candace asks, her son checks baseball scores every morning. Would the app work for that?
Vince, you want to give the detail on that?
Yeah, for your favorite teams, it works for that. So if you're a Marlins fan, or if you're a fan of the Mariners, and you wake up in the morning and you want to know what the score was, you're going to see it right there on the app.
The easy thing about the app is that it's so simple. All you do is you go and you select your favorite teams in any professional league or NCAA, and automatically the next time you're on that app, it spoon feeds you everything there is to know about your favorite team. So there's no more searching to be done. It comes straight to you.
So Candace, your son needs to download the app for you, either on your phone or if he has his phone, download it on his, and make sure he adds the Dodgers so he can keep up to date on all the comings and goings of Yasiel Puig and the rest of the Dodgers. Thank you again, both of you, for joining us tonight. I think Jose and I enjoyed this conversation immensely.
Absolutely. Nice to meet you both. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
As well.
Jose, where can people find you, my friend, my editor, my boss?
We're thesportingnation.com. We're on Twitter at SportingNation1. My email, j.romero@thesportingnation.com. I'm always looking for story ideas, always looking for something different to write about. You'd be surprised at some of the things that somehow land in my lap, and things that I end up writing about. It's a lot of fun. It's always interesting to see that, sometimes I wonder if we're going to run out of material, but then something new always seems to pop up, and so we keep it rolling as often as we can.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the Sporting Nation. I'm a big fan. It's a great publication. I really enjoy the writing on the site.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Thank you, and like Vicente said, please check us out at thesportingnation.com. We have a great collection of young sports journalists and broadcasters who share original content and video every week, and it's a great place to find some of those new writers who might bring a fresh perspective to the Latino sports fan here in the United States. Thank you again for joining us. Follow along at Sporting Nation 1, and so you can keep up to date on when our next show will be. Thank you, everyone, again, and have a great night.